Staying with the NNPC in partnership with other oil exploration and production companies operating in Nigeria have brought down the cost of oil production in the country and by 30%. The group managing director of the NNPC, Mr. Mele Kyari, says the NNPC and its partners realized during the COVID-19 that it was no longer practicable to produce at high cost being produced at the time and still be effective and profitable. Hence the decision to approach their contractors for renegotiations of contracts, which he said worked for them. At the heat of the COVID-19 induced oil market crash, the cost of production in the country was at the peak as Nigerian oil companies were spending more to produce a barrel of oil, unlike other countries, necessitating the NNPC to peg the cost of production to a maximum of $10 per barrel. The NNPC boss with the contract says that with the contract renegotiations and discounts, in addition with some optimization of operating processes driven by the National Upstream Cost Optimization Program, the cost production was reduced by 30%. The exchange rate between the Naira and the US dollar closed at 411 Naira 25 kobo to a dollar at the investors and exporters window, where Forex is traded officially. Naira depreciated against the US dollar on Friday, having lost 55 kobo to close at 411 Naira 25 kobo per dollar, compared to 410 Naira 7 kobo per dollar recorded on Thursday, 1st July 2021. The local currency fell at the official market, despite the dollar rising significantly by 128.2%. Meanwhile, the Naira was stable at the parallel market as it closed at 503 Naira to a dollar. This was the same that was recorded in the previous trading session. Nigeria lost about $2.1 billion in foreign reserves within the first half of 2021. Falling to its lowest levels in almost 4 years. Nigeria's foreign reserves level declined from $5.37 billion recorded as of 31st December 2021 to $33.232 billion as of 30th June 2021. This represents a 5.8% decline in just 6 months. For the past 20 years, there have been various attempts at reforming Nigeria's oil and gas industry. However, none of these efforts has yielded any tangible results until the introduction of the Petroleum Industry Bill 2020. Now, 13 years after the Petroleum Industry Bill was presented to the National Assembly, it finally sealed endorsement on Thursday, the 1st of July. The PIB comprises a combination of 16 Nigerian petroleum laws that outline the framework to boost oil and gas output while enhancing the sector's attractiveness for international investment. Amongst others, is set to create efficient and effective governing institution with clear separate roles for the petroleum industry. Established a framework for creation of the commercially oriented and profit-driven national company and provide transparency, good governance, and promote transparency in administration of petroleum resources in the country. Hopefully, the provisions of the PIB will be enough to stimulate the desired investment through the use of though it does not address the issue of energy transition from fossil fuel to clean energy. Now, which leads to the very big question that whether those investments will pay off or will be a risky bet. Well, that's a very big one. Well, to provide solutions to this and answer some of these questions, I have joining me Editor-in-Chief of Energy News Network, also a freelance as these days, is Mr. Chris Paul Otaigbe. Mr. Otaigbe, good afternoon and thank you very much for your time. Good afternoon, Mr. Otaigbe. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Now, first, what is your reaction? Finally, this bill has been passed after years. Let me start with your straight reaction to this development.
Well, it's a good development. It's great news. And really, when you consider that that bill has been jumping up and down 20 years now. And, it's been what has caused a lot of lull in the industry. You'll appreciate the fact that It is something worth popping champagne for. That it has been passed at last. Don't forget that this has been what has been inhibiting needed investment in the industry. Many people want to invest, but because of the uncertainty surrounding the legal framework and around the industry, a lot of people have been discoveries across Africa seems to have been. Are you with me? Hello? Am I on?
Go on, you're on. Go on, just go ahead.
So imagine discoveries across Africa seems to now be taking a lot of them away from us, So you can imagine how much we must have lost because this law has taken this long to be passed. So it's a great news, and one is very, very, very happy. Even though there will be, there are some areas that need to be straightened out, rough edges to be, polished and all of that. I'm sure they will do that. We still have one last stage, the conference committee stage, I believe, before it goes on for presidential assent and all of that. So that stage, to see how they will smoothen out the rough edges, So
Let me quickly. All right, let me follow up with the fact that this bill consists of 5 distinct and logical connected chapters. Now, if we break this down, let's start with the governance. Let's start with governance now and institution administration. Now, looking at NNPC becoming a company, profit-making company, take us through how you think this will happen and how it will impact on the shareholders, as the 200 million Nigerians.
Oh, well, the unbundling of NNPC to start playing that role is not something that will be new to the corporation, because they are already doing all of that, as one entity as we see them today. But unbundling them to begin to play those roles would more like, how do I put it, would expand the opportunities that are there that the NNPC never tapped into before this law came. And of course, it will help to get them off their seats. They were getting things a lot easier before now. But now they have to go out there and look out and hunt for business opportunities and invest, in them. And of course, they have all that. They have everything that is needed to have done all of this before now. But now that the law is here, when they start to do that, the full potential of the conglomerate as NNPC will come out, and Nigerians, it will benefit Nigerians more. There will be more. There will be more investment in so many areas, across the country, even outside of the country. And the real revenue potential of the state oil company will come out, as we have with Aramco in Saudi Arabia, Petrobras in Brazil, and all of that. We'll not start to show the true NNPC as it were.
Okay, let me now follow up also with this question. Looking at the relationship already being established by the NNPC wanting a stake in the Dangote Refinery. Yes, I'm going to ask you about that. And some are saying that this already means that the NNPC is taking advantage of all of these positives in the PIB to adopt this kind of a process. I'm talking about 20% share in the Dangote Refinery. Do you see this also as a step in promoting the private and public sector coming together and all of that, improving investments?
I even believe that the NNPC Dangote deal is already giving us a hint as to how NNPC will be playing in the PIB environment. And for me, that deal is the best deal that NNPC can even have at this point. Really, the downstream, to solve the downstream crisis that we have. I don't know how to describe this Dangote deal. I just feel it like a one-stop shop to fix most of the problems that we have. I mean, number one, consider the fact that it's 650,000 barrels a day refinery. The refineries that we say we have that are all broken down, nobody is fixing it. Well, they are trying to fix it now. Just 445. So imagine all those 445,000 barrels per day refineries, all in one complex, in one compound. Plus an extra over 200,000 barrels per day refining capacity, all in one complex. So what you have is that complex alone will have solved your domestic need, and then we'll have more than enough for exports. I'm sure somebody will say, one of the problems NNPC had is that the borders are porous, and so people are smuggling fuel outside the border. Well, that was NNPC. This is a private individual. He's going to make his money exporting. He knows what to do to get, to secure his products, from smugglers. Of course, working with security agencies. So he knows what to do in that area. Then you're also looking at, all the brouhaha, all the problem, all the crisis associated with importing fuel from outside Nigeria will vanish. That we are talking about that's about saving saving about $10 billion per annum. $10 billion we're saving just by that one deal that these people are getting into. And do you know what that means? It means that Nigeria will no longer suffer forex crisis. So the manufacturer can easily have access to dollars. The guy whose child is schooling abroad can easily have access to dollars. Somebody wanting to go to for medical tourism can easily have access to dollars. Then, first of all, and then again, the price of fuel itself will crash. Because there's no more encumbrance of, we are importing and all of that. Then we cannot start talking about double digits should be price for fuel. It's not impossible that these people can drive that price to like maybe 50, 70 naira per liter. It's not impossible. And they're talking about forex. I can bet you that by the time this refinery gets up, and other refineries, of course, you are likely to see a crash in dollars. I mean, the naira will gain so much strength. Don't be surprised. And this is not an exaggeration. We may be exchanging $1, 100 naira to $1 or less. Because what is making the naira weak today is this fuel importation. And so many other things we don't know, but importation of fuel is taking a larger chunk of our forex, over 40%. And then you're also looking at what about employment? Right now, as we speak, that facility, as it is under construction, has over 65,000 people on the ground. By the time it's fully operational, you are talking about over 250,000 Nigerians employed directly. Don't also forget, so many things, so many petroleum products that we import to service some local industry will be here. So you are looking at Lagos as blowing up as economically. In fact, the whole of the Southwest. There's so much. For me, I believe, if I say right now, these Dangote refineries and the other ones that are ongoing to, they are the ones to save Nigeria from the crisis it's in right now. Not only fuel crisis. Somebody will tell you, one of the problems that you have is that people are saying they are emphasizing it, playing politics with it, and telling you they are trying to favor another flag or whatever. Or Dangote is trying to enjoy another government privilege. For heaven's sake, I don't care right now. Because why? As we speak, 4 refineries are down. So no fuel coming from Nigeria, no more domestic supply. Then, not long ago, the GMD himself has come out to raise alarm. He said, fuel subsidized, the cost of subsidizing fuel has eaten so much into the money they make exporting crude oil that, look, if we're not careful, they may not be able to start paying into federation account, meaning that over 60% of our revenue will be denied other developments in budgets and what have you. So there are, so these refineries are coming to fix so many things. So when somebody is telling you that is it the only one? Where are the refineries? Where are the government refineries to supply your fuel? Now, money will soon run out. You won't be able to import fuel. So you all want to sit down, and then this one is blaming the other, that one is blaming the other, it's going to be a mumbling, and before you know the crisis, it starts from there. So as far as I'm concerned, right now the state Nigeria is in is to use what works. Those who destroyed this economy destroyed all the books, destroyed your IMF theories, all your World Bank theories, And so what we're doing now is just navigating our own context. So if you try to bring a foreign theory or existing whatever from other clients, it won't work here. Because the books, whoever destroyed this economy, or those who are responsible for destroying the economy, threw the books away. So you have to just do what works for you. What works for us right now is to ensure that Dangote and all other refineries are accelerated to work before the end of this year, so that they can start, supplying fuel.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well noted there. Let's now look at chapter 4. I think a global competitive progressive fiscal framework. Investments into the oil and gas sector has not been commendable lately. Looking at about $100 billion that has found its way to the African continent. Less than 5% has come to Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation. Now, do you think there will be a shift with the passage of the PIB? Talking about capital inflows into the sector.
Well, there should be a shift. However, I cannot guarantee that in the immediate future. Because as you have found out in Nigeria, we are not lacking in laws. It is the way to execute those laws to the letter that's the problem. All right? Ordinarily, PIB should be the one that would solve all our problems. We hope so, we believe so, we wish so. But it can't do that except those managing the institutions that are set up are sincere and patriotic enough and are visionary. So it's always about the mind behind the policies, behind the laws. So 5% coming to Nigeria right now. If you're a business person, you're a businessman, be honest to yourself. Would you want to invest in Nigeria right now? With all its possibilities. But with the insecurity killing that country now, would you want to invest if you're outside Nigeria? No. You are inside Nigeria now, but would you want to invest in the Northeast? I think you know Northeast. Nobody wants to invest in a crisis-prone environment, no matter how sweet, whatever it is they want is. So the government has to solve that crisis, first and foremost. For me, the insecurity plaguing this country has to be solved, has to be sorted out once and for all. It's not enough. PIB, maybe if PIB had come in before this administration came, or before this crisis entered our lexicon, maybe we would have all been celebrating, finally PIB. But now, so many things have overtaken the excitement that will have greeted the passage of the bill. The country is burning, the country is on fire. So it's for the government to rise up to the occasion. These are the reasons why we say, take care of this insecurity problem. Because, let me tell you something. Make no mistake about it. Nigeria is a multi-trillion-dollar economy any day. And in fact, Dangote has proven that to you. Because there could be one Dangote who can have a behemoth of such a large refinery, by global standard refinery in this country. There are so many Dangotes here now. But there are some who may be richer than him who can do something similar. But like what I meant by that, he defines the multi-trillion-dollar capacity that we have. He defines that Dangote defines who we are. This insecurity does not define us. So we are a multi-trillion-dollar economy. But what is killing us are these little problems, needless problems. The dousing the giant, neutralizing, paralyzing the giant in us. Dangote, I can't say enough about Dangote. I'm not trying to be patronizing. I'm being realistic and being objective. There are some politicians who can afford. Dangote spent over $7 billion into this of his money into this $19 billion investment. He could have easily said he wants for president now. If he divides 6 billion or 7 billion into by 1 billion per region, everybody will line up on the day of election and vote into power now because they have money. But he decided no, politics is not his problem right now. He wants something that will help Nigeria and help the economy. But there are some people who, of course, who have more money than he, but may not be recognized by Forbes because of the source of their money. But they have money anyway, but they could do something. So what we need right now are people, investments like that of Dangote, and people like him, with patriotic instincts and sentiments, to help this country out of the doldrums we are in right now. But of course, the crisis does not define us. It doesn't, there's nothing that can happen to Nigeria that can reduce its multi-trillion-dollar capacity, as I always say. But we need, the government itself needs to address this insecurity once and for all. And I know that Nigeria has that capacity any day, anytime, any place. Well, so for me, that we are getting 5%, we are even looking at we are getting 5%. We are looking at people have not run away from this country because of insecurity. We are lucky. But, we can't abuse the grace, otherwise we'll be disgraced. So, right now, two things here. I can tell you that maybe it's me being overrating our country, but I can't overrate Nigeria. Nigeria is what Nigeria is. I can tell you that Nigerians are capable of making Nigeria a global power by ourselves. By ourselves. We don't, I'm not one of those who subscribe to, foreign FDI. They are good. Well, check it out. Now, last year, 2020, FDI was less than $10 billion and even being modest. But that's why remittances was over $20 billion. Those are Nigerians, outside Nigeria. But here are the, investor white people that we're talking about, they only get less than 10 billion.
All right.
So Nigerians are capable of doing all of that. So I just have to, I got Friday, but go ahead, please.
All right, there. It's a good way to live. It's very interesting. I see the passion there. Editor-in-Chief, Energy News Network, Mr. Chris Otaigbe. Thank you very much for your time. It's a pleasure talking to you, and we will definitely reach out to you to talk more about the sector as events unfold. Thank you so much again, and enjoy the rest of your day.